All right. Welcome. Grounding and gratitude. I'm so excited you're here. And we are going to spend this time sharing a little bit and getting grounded in our bodies and feeling really calm and connected so that you can have a pleasant wedding planning journey instead of one that's ruled by stress and anxiety. So, as we get settled, if you can find a quiet space where you can kind of stretch and move a little bit, that would be great. And a place where you feel comfortable sharing or where you won't be interrupted so you can really soak in the energy. Maybe you want to light a candle. You could have your journal or some water. I have a cup of tea here. And maybe you grab your favorite crystals. If you're a crier like me, you might grab some tissues. So whatever is you need to be comfortable, maybe it's a blanket or some pillows. Here's just some technical support if you're not familiar with Google Meets. You've got your muting and video on and off down at the bottom. You can add closed captions, which is kind of nice. You can raise your hand, and if you accidentally hang up, you can always click come back in. So, how are you? Where are you joining from? What are you drinking? And what brought you to this space today? So, you can go ahead and just type in the chat. And my intention is for every single one of you to leave feeling a little lighter and more joyful and relaxed. So, today we have Maeve calling in from Colorado. A little emotional, she says. Weddings are tough. And what are you drinking to keep yourself hydrated and grounded through the emotions? That's a really dehydrating experience. Big life transitions is what brought here to her today. And a warm cup of decaf Earl Grey. Delicious. Love Earl Grey. She says she's here to reconnect to my heart and feel some peace in the middle of all this busyness. Yes, that is why we're here. So glad you're here. And for anyone watching the recording, I'm so glad you're here. And we're going to find you some peace and reconnect with your heart. That's exactly what we need. Awesome. Okay. So here's our plan. We did our welcome. I'm going to share a story, a little bit about myself and a story, and then we'll do the Reiki stretching mindfulness practice. Have some space for reflecting, and I have an invitation for you at the end before we close with another Reiki visualization. So we're going to hop right in. The norms for this space are the norms that I use in my Wise Brides group. So these are really good whether you're interacting with other people or even just interacting with yourself. So listen to yourself, listen to each other without judgment, be kind to yourself. Talking about feelings, working through feelings is messy, and you just kind of have to let that flow through you and let that messiness be. Forgive yourself for mistakes you've made, forgive others for mistakes they've made. Advice and suggestions are only allowed if requested by the speaker. So that holds true for this space and for Wise Brides. And normally in Wise Brides, we would keep everything confidential. The recording would not be shared, but this is grounding in gratitude, so this will be shared. All right, so this is me. My name's Kate Mariah, and that's my family there. It's my husband, Frank, and my two kids. It's Calvin and Lily. Calvin's almost 9, and Lily just turned 5. And I was a science teacher for 15 years, and now I am an intuitive Reiki healer and wedding doula. And another big piece that's informed my work that I just want to share and put out there at the beginning is that between 2013 and 2019, I lost both of my parents. And so I'm really familiar with grief. And I also had two kids in that time. So I'm also familiar with how life can sometimes just pile things on top of you and how overwhelming that can be. And I've been gathering strategies from that experience and through my whole life, which you'll see in a minute, to help you get through those times. So, a little bit about me. I was born in Boulder, Colorado, grew up there by these beautiful Flatirons, really surrounded in nature, really steeped in the the medicine that is nature. Nature is my church. My mom was a birth doula and a massage therapist. This is her with one of her clients. And my dad was a Hakomi therapist, which is a type of psychotherapy. And he also loved tinkering with science. He built a Tesla coil and was into reading electromagnetic frequencies and stuff, and had a long life of exploring lots of different things. So both were incredible teachers for me. I was exposed to mindfulness and really active listening and energy work from a very young age. And once I became a teenager, I started teaching and coaching and really exploring mindfulness outside of my family unit. So as a teenager, I learned transcendental meditation. I did the Buddhist Shambhala training with the warrior training. And I coached gymnastics. These are my gymnasts here. Another gymnast that I was working one-on-one with. I really love those one-on-one connections. I started my yoga practice as a teenager and continued and taught at my college. And when I was digging things up for this presentation, I found this, which was my high school culminating project, Movement Connecting the Mind and Body. And so from that age, I was 17 at the time when I did this project, I've always been interested in how our minds and our bodies are so interconnected and the science behind all of that. I did a huge research into that and have taught that in my classes, both back in high school and to my high school students. And it continues to be a huge piece of the knowledge that I bring into my work that I do today. Here's my classroom. These are my high school students that I started teaching after college, and these are my environmental club. Thank you. Yeah, so this is the environmental club that we ran. That big turtle is in the back is from a trip I took kids to Costa Rica to study ecology. And I also organized science research symposiums. So that was my event planning part of my job, which I can now bring that experience into my wedding doula business. So I wanted, since we're here talking about weddings, I figured we should talk. You want to know about my wedding journey. So this is where it started. Well, you know how that is, but proposal's never really where it started, right? You've been together for a long time. We had been together. We met teaching, actually. I was a science teacher and he was an English teacher at New Vista for a brief period of time. And we had been together for 3 years, and I was just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for him to propose. And he finally did on a trip to New Mexico. But he waited until I was practically asleep. Literally. I could barely make out that he was asking me. And I woke up the next morning and I was just in total overload. I was crying and I had no idea what to do. I had thought about this moment for so long, but then it happened and I had not thought past it. And so I had a flood of emotions. I've always been a crier, so I just, thankfully, Frank knows that about me and let me cry. But there was a lot there that I had no idea what to do with. And so I just decided to ignore it, which I think a lot of us do. We just think about the things we can control and not worry about this mess that's kind of under the surface. Yes. And so, we had to figure out the logistics of our family's meeting for the first time and the venue and the save the dates and the guest lists. And all the while, I'm also working as a teacher. So as long as I didn't let myself rest, I didn't have to look at all that stuff under the surface. And that worked for a while. We had gotten a fair amount done. 9 months later, it was August. School was about to start. So I was kind of just checking off the last of the to-dos, trying to get as much of the wedding stuff done so I could switch from my wedding brain to my school brain, when my venue called and said, we're no longer hosting weddings. The city of Boulder doesn't, the permitting, we can't do it anymore. So there was no figuring that out that way. Yeah. Yep, Maeve. Oh my gosh. So of course, first reaction was totally freaked out. And then pretty quickly, I think, it was in the same little bit of time, I was like, okay, freaking out is not getting me anywhere. I've been sort of pushing for a while. I had been trying to just keep grasping at the next to do without letting myself rest. And so I finally was like, okay, Kate, just stop. Use all those tools you've been gathering your whole life and just calm down and figure out how we're going to do this. So this is what I did, and you're welcome to join me if you would like. So close my eyes. Take a few big deep breaths. Go ahead and join me now if you'd like. You can stretch and move. Just kind of get yourself back into your body. And I asked myself, where do I want to be on my wedding day? Imagine what is around you. What do you see? And I got a good vision that arose. And since it worked for me, I asked my fiance to do the same thing. And this is what we saw. So I saw an aspen grove. Love aspens. It's always been a very spiritual place for me. There was a aspen grove up at a gymnastics camp that I worked at. And that in particular really was just a place where I could totally relax, right? And that's what I felt drawn to. Thanks. And my husband, or fiance at the time, saw a pine forest. So we both saw trees, which was wonderful. Right, there's some commonality there. Different types, but that's okay. We both wanted trees. And the venue we had that had canceled looked like this. So this is an actual picture of the farm that we were going to get married on that canceled on us. And so suddenly I was like, oh, that was just not our place. That's okay. So let's look somewhere that has trees. And within one Google search, I swear to you, Frank found the Colorado Mountain Ranch just outside of Boulder. It's up in Gold Hill. And the venue, or the ceremony site, had these pine trees. So you can see the pine trees in the view behind us. And then I had to walk a little, just across the road, to find my aspen trees. And they had our date available, right? Because I'd already sent out the save the dates. They had our date available and it was in our budget. We did have to compromise. We couldn't spend the night there. So that's not I don't want to paint it as and it was perfect and everything, right? with venues, you usually have to compromise on something. So we did have to compromise on being able to stay the night, but we found though our surrounding where we really felt at home. So that was a win. And that was the reminder. This is a lesson that I learn over and over and over and over again, I feel like, in my life. But it's that you can't run your life with your left brain all the time. You can't just have lists and talk to everyone and task, right? You have to make the time and the space for the other side of life, of the resting and the listening and your creativity and your dance, and really checking in with your intuition and your heart, right? And after all, weddings are the birth of your family. So you want to be coming at it from a place, your heart-centered place, right? Or at least a balance of the two. We just really are missing that right brain creative side in the wedding planning world right now. Okay, so maybe share a little bit throughout, but yeah, can you relate to any parts of the story? What rung true to you? Okay. She says, very much just the feeling of unsettled emotions that come up when you're in uncertainty. Yes, this is so true. And the entire engagement is this liminal space where you are moving from your unmarried life into your married life. And so it's a big, long stretch. I remember when I chose a long engagement, I was like, oh, it'll give me more time to plan. And then as it went longer and longer and longer, it was like, oh man, this is like a lot of time to spend in this liminal space. So definitely feel you on that. She also says, and also knowing that your partner is the other half of the wedding journey. I love how you took his vision into account as well and created collaboration out of chaos. I love those words, collaboration out of chaos. Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like it's hard to do those conversations sometimes. And there were moments when I was surprised by the strong opinions that my fiance had about strange details of the wedding planning. But it just gives you more practice working through things and checking in with each other. And all of those skills are so important to marriage. So yeah, for sure. Okay. Anything else to add? Oh, you're welcome. She said, thank you for sharing your story. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's just one of the stories too. So many more stories. Right. And there's so many layers that's been something I've been working on, is like just focusing on one and the lesson. So more stories to come. So we're going to move into the practice part. So I just wanted to share these sort of foundational beliefs to give us some ground to stand on as we move into this practice. So first one is that intentions are powerful. This is actually like a scientifically proven fact, because we can use visualizations and intentions to literally shape how our neurons are connecting. So what you visualize in your brain actually happens in between your neurons. We hold emotions in our bodies. Our muscles store that energy and those neurotransmitters and stuff. So your body is holding things. We are more than our physical form. As I've learned Reiki and my spiritual journey, I mean, there is something else out there, and I don't adhere to a single religion or spiritual path. I sort of have conglomerated and found the boiled down the truth in each of them that I've explored. And I think they all really have the same core beliefs. Our hearts are really wise, right? If we can tap into our hearts, like you said at the beginning, Maeve, that can really help us lead us on a path that's more grounded and joyful. Tears and laughter are fabulous. Such a great release. So is shaking your body, right? Because those emotions are held in our body. Our personal work has the power to transform our relationships and society. Really, really believe that as we learn to work more gently, compassionately with ourselves, then that can extend to the people we know and beyond. And the simple act of acknowledging something in someone else or in ourselves has the power to transform that thing. So it may seem really simple to just state what you're feeling, but stating it gives it light and can help things transform. Okay, so let's take a few deep breaths and check in with your body and just share with me, where are you feeling tension right now? So a little body scan, that's a mindfulness tool you can use. But just, you can even rub your palms together and just kind of like check in with your physical body. What are you feeling? So go ahead and type in there, Maeve. Since you are here live, you get to have this designed just for you. Oh, yes, tension in neck and shoulders. I'm like, I know there's a lot of other people out there listening to this that have tension in their neck and shoulders. So, perfect. Yeah, that's a huge piece in our society. And during the wedding journey, like, we have to use our voice a lot to ask for what we need and communicate with vendors. And like, there's a lot, and there's grief that comes up in weddings, and that's all held here in the throat too, which can then, translate into the back of the neck and shoulders. So there's a lot going on there metaphysically too. But let's do some physical movement to help us clear that. So go ahead and stand up. And we're just going to get a nice big stretch here first. Finding your feet, finding that rooted stance. So a nice hip distance. Make sure your knees are slightly bent. You can stay laying down or sitting, whatever feels good to you right now. Sometimes a little movement can help release some of the tension. And the correlated part of your body to your neck and shoulders is the hips. So we're going to start here with just some gentle circles on the hips. And maybe some, almost like you're doing a little hula hoop with your hips. So you're circling your hands and you're circling your hips. And breathe. And taking the hands around to the back. And I do a similar thing. So keep those hips moving. You don't have to switch directions unless you feel like you want to. And you're going to do some circles on the back. Give yourself a little back massage here. The kidneys are calling. Give those kidneys a little love with your fingers. Bending the knees. Don't lock them out. And then go ahead and with the knees really, really bent, a generous bend in the knees, go ahead and fold forward. You can cross the arms, hold elbows, and you're going to just let yourself gently sway from side to side. And then I'm going to ask you to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, up. So tucking the tailbone and keeping the chin down. Slowly roll your body up. Feel free to make these sounds with me. I use these vibrations to help activate and clear the different chakras, and it also helps the vagus nerve release any tension. Bringing your arms up. Imagine you're like splashing water in your face. And then letting it flow back down the back of your body. Sinking in, down. Inhaling up, splash that water. And then let it pour down. You might give your back of your neck a few little strokes here. Feeling that water just flow back down the back of your body. Give yourself a little bit more curve this time. Bringing your hands, you're crossing your elbows in front. Bringing them up overhead. And exhaling. Dropping the arms open and out. Lifting the heart and the chin. One more of those if you feel called, or maybe just one of the splashing. You can always take whatever intuitive movements you're being called to do. Give your neck a little roll in either direction. And before we sit down, I'm going to have you just dust off some nice long strokes down each arm, starting at the shoulder. Make sure you get the back. Really taking some long exhales. Make sure you get the palm of your hand and the back of your hand. Just wipe them off. And then at your other side. So get the back of that shoulder, front of the shoulder, middle of the shoulder, just dusting it off once again. Following that exhale all the way out. All right. Wipe those hands nice and clean. If you have some maracas or some spritz or something, you can. If I had my rose spritz, I'd spritz us all right now. I left it in my Reiki room, but that's okay. So come on back and find a comfortable seated position. We're going to do a little bit more visualizing and grounding. So you can lay down or sit or stand, whatever feels good to you. But I'm going to find a nice, comfortable seated position here. Help my camera. I forgot to stop presenting so you could see me big. All right, we'll do it now. Okay. One hand to the heart, one hand to the solar plexus. No agenda, just breathe. Sending a big, giant hug of compassion into your heart. Feel it go all the way through your body and come out the other side. Blooming like a rose between your shoulder blades. If you feel drawn, take the palms of your hands and grab each shoulder, kind of on the thickest part up here. You're not just giving yourself a hug. You're actually using the finger, your hand, to grasp this upper part. This is a shiatsu hold for helping the nervous system. If you're like hyperventilating or like having an anxious response, this is helpful for that. So just give yourself a firm grasp here if it's comfortable. Could do one arm at a time if that's better. And just breathe. Imagine a hollow tube connected to the base of your spine. And extend it all the way down to the center of the earth. And with each inhale, you fill your body, and on the exhale, release what you're holding down your grounding cord, anything you're ready to release. Let it flow down the grounding cord, down that big slippery slide, all the way to the center of the earth where it can be transmuted and repurposed. 2 more deep breaths here. You can switch elbows on top if you want. Good job. Can release and give your shoulders a little wiggle, a little shrug. And take the palms of your hands and rub them together. Get that heat and that energy gathering. Take a moment with your throat chakra here. Like I mentioned before, the throat chakra is where we often hold our anger and our grief, which are often related, and is the channel that allows your heart and your mind and your upper chakras to be connected. So we really, opening this throat chakra is so important for all of us. So with your warmed up hands, take one hand to the front of the throat, wherever it feels right. You could go up and even give yourself a little jaw massage if you want. The other hand's going to go the base of your skull. Feel free to join me with some gentle humming here. You can follow whatever tone you want. If you need to relax your arms and switch, you can. Both hands to the back of the neck, using your fingers to let your head rest back a little bit. And I'm getting the image of this golden aura, I guess. So this golden light energy that's breathing out from your neck and shoulders, head, sort of into the space around you. It's almost like a ripple moving through it, starting close to your skin and then rippling out. Take your fingers to the base of your neck, into those trapezius muscles, giving a nice squeeze there. Just letting your elbows rest down. And letting them slide forward over the tops of your shoulders, giving yourself that nice massage along all those connective muscles. All the way till you get to your collarbones. Take a minute to massage right underneath your collarbones. And we'll imagine your aura an arm's length in all directions. So you can take your hands and press out, just really allowing yourself some space, energetic space around you. And imagine it above, in front, behind, to the sides, and below, where you tuck it into your grounding cord. Go ahead and give your aura a golden bubble bath. So imagine little golden bubbles coming up and clearing out anything that you're carrying in your energetic sphere that is no longer serving you. And then let them flow down out your grounding cord back to the center of the earth where they'll be transmuted and repurposed. I have a song I want to share with you. It's coming through, so we're gonna go with it. I'll sing it a few times, so if you want to join along with me it repeats. It's actually a Buddhist prayer that's made into a song. May we be happy and peaceful. May we be healthy and strong. May we be safe and protected. May we live with ease. May you be happy and peaceful. May you be healthy and strong. May you be safe and protected. May you live with ease. Same thing with I. May I be happy and peaceful. May I be healthy and strong. May I be safe and protected. May I live with ease. Satnam. We have a little more we're going to do at the very end to call out and bring in energy to leave you feeling really filled up and clear. But we're going to pause there and see how you're feeling. How did that go for you? I'm going to share my thing again. So yeah, if you feel comfortable, feel free to share here. If you're watching this later, write it down in your journal. Journaling is such a powerful tool, especially when you're going through the wedding journey, when it's hard to explain or not the people that you need to, banana. I got to get out of my Reiki brain into my talking brain. Sometimes it's hard because the people you would normally turn to talk to about stuff are not the right audience for what you're feeling. And so the journal is a wonderful place to do that, or wedding doula or wise bride or somebody outside of the wedding planning process. All right. Maeve shared the feelings that came up. I feel like I've been holding some grief and uncertainty in my heart. Lots of details and logistics buzzing around in my head. Yes. Certain parts of the wedding feel clear and other parts still feel unclear. As for the grief, I am missing so many friends and family members that won't be there because they've passed away or they can't or won't come. When I picture my wedding, I see people there, but not many faces. I know, and it makes me sad. Okay. Oh, yes. I'm so glad you brought up this grief piece. I just wrote a blog about it. So maybe I'll send that out with this recording. Um, the grief. I mean, even if you aren't missing someone that you love, there's grief because there's a letting go of this in this transition. There's always this letting go piece. But when we carry that grief of those people that won't be there, it's interesting maybe that you say you see people, but not many faces. And that says to me that those people are with you. They will be with you there, but not in their physical form. And that's it's a really hard one to swallow and be with. And I would just say, if you're for Maeve and anyone who is holding that sense of loss, like, please let yourself feel the grief. The only way out is through it. Really, holding it in is just going to manifest in your body and make it harder. And so for me, Reiki was a really powerful tool. I got monthly Reiki sessions to help me through the grief of when my mom passed. And because there are so many things buzzing around in your head, these logistics that are so much like more cut and dry and like check offable. The grief is dark and uncomfortable, and it can be really hard to find the right space to like really feel it. And that's where I really leaned into my Reiki teacher. And it was just distance sessions that helped me feel like I could really, really grieve, because there wasn't anybody in the room with me. I just find a room and then be on a call with my Reiki teacher, and was able to really move a lot of that grief and make a lot of noise, lots of yelling into pillows and hitting pillows, getting that anger out. There's a lot of anger that's wrapped up in grief as well. So I hope that helps a little bit. Please know I'm here for Reiki if you ever want it. Yeah. And I see you and I feel you, and it's hard. It's hard. And that expectation piece we're going to talk about here in just a second. Well, I just mentioned this. I just talked about the grief. I just wanted to share that this work came about because people asked it of me. The first time I supported someone, and when the term wedding doula came into my lexicon, was when I showed up for my friend Kendall's wedding in upstate New York, and was there as my full genuine self. It was just in a really grounded place. And I took on a whole bunch of tasks, but I ended up also being like an emotional support for her mom and her mother-in-law. And it just kind of showed me that there is this really complex dynamic of holding space at weddings that was really, really valuable. I got a lot of positive feedback back from everybody. And so that's when the wedding doula idea began. And then that was back 2012. 2013, I got married in June. And then 6 months later, my dad passed. And that has a way of really waking you up and saying, like, hey, what is your calling? Do it now, because life is short, and you don't know how much time you're going to have. So my dad's passing was a very spiritual experience too. He was such a connected, like spiritually attuned guy, that it was a Kundalini awakening for me. I'd never felt that connected and open. And it was a really transformative experience. And to have that connection with the spirit, someone on the other side, was really powerful. And they're still with me, even though they've passed. My mom passing was a whole nother experience we can talk about another time. So I'm going to transition into an invitation here. So the quick version, the 3 ways to work with me right now is that I offer one-on-one Reiki sessions, coaching, and deep listening, which is kind of like a combination of Reiki and coaching with some somatic stuff in there and a lot of intuitive energy stuff. Wise Brides and Mindful Matriarchs are my groups. And I'm going to tell you more about Wise Brides today because we're opening it up if anyone would like to come in. And the last way is my day of support. So this is super limited because I really love like deep, thorough support. I like to provide deep, thorough support. And so I'm not going to be doing 4 weddings a month. I'll probably be doing 4 weddings a year at max. And I support you with the timeline, but I also support you with Reiki and your well-being on the wedding day. Like I talked about, like helping to make sure that we've set it up in a really grounded way so that you're feeling 100% ready and present and in your full magnificence on your wedding day. So those are my 3 ways that you can work with me. And today we're going to invite you in to Wise Brides. So this is a really small group. We 3 to 5 people. I would run it with just 2, probably 2 if we want to keep it even smaller, but 3 is my favorite. I haven't ever had 5. So we'll see who's interested. And I'm enrolling now for spring, which runs February through April. And then you can have the opportunity to continue into summer and fall, or if you can't join now and want to join later, that's a possibility too. It's super small and super personalized. So you tell me what you need and we'll figure it out and make it happen is really what that is. That's what this is. So what is Wise Brides? It's what I wish I had when I was getting married. It's what my clients have been asking me for. Like, I really created this based off of what I thought people needed. And then I got feedback and kept tweaking and making it into what it is now. So I figured quotes from my clients would be the best way to describe it. This one is from a Wise Bride this year. Wise Brides is, I think this was to the answer. It was answering the question, what did you get from Wise Brides? So validation, support, and the designated moment for taking a deep breath during the crazy wedding planning. And this one's from a couple years back. Kate created a beautiful and safe space where we could process and share all the complex emotions that come from being engaged and looking forward to a wedding. She was able to bring a deep level of understanding, self-acceptance, and care to each of the unique journeys we were on, as well as some practical tools for managing stress. And for wedding planning, I'll say. We also have tools for wedding planning in here. So the group provides connection, community, and support from people who really get it, right? You're in a group with other people who are planning weddings. So they know exactly what you're going through. This is another quote from Wise Bride. I'm grateful for each person in the group, for the relatable stories, the confidence boosts, empathy, and backing me up in times I felt I had no ground to stand on. Having you all around helped me not feel alone in everything. And then this one was a text I got from a Wise Bride. It was amazing. Thank you so much. I could have listened and discussed for 2 more hours. I feel so much more grounded and excited. And this is the stuff that just makes me want to keep doing this work. Oh, and here's one more. It was extremely helpful to connect with others going through the same transition. I felt less alone with things I was dealing with, and the suggestions and insights from others were very helpful. So it's also just some practical tools that you get that are going to help you for your whole life, right? We're not just planning a wedding. We're like, you're growing up into a new version of yourself, which we are doing all the time. I just turned 40 and I'm like, yep, here we go again. Growth happens. So This one says it helped me have confidence in my choices, which helps me hold boundaries. That's a huge trick, by the way. If you ever have a hard time holding boundaries, figuring out how to feel really confident in what you've decided is helpful. I've grown as a person by being in this group and hearing stories and all the perspectives. I learned to be aware of my expectations and intentions. It helped me navigate away from patterns where I'd set myself up to be let down. And yeah, there's so much that we could get into in that. So here's a brief overview of the topics we go over. So we've got weddings as a rite of passage, expectations, guest list, compassionate communication, decision-making tips, mindfulness tools, practical planning tips and tricks, and many, many, many energetic and somatic, which is body-centered tools for stress reduction, boundary setting, and grounding. And what I want to say, this is what I wanted to get to because it's so personalized. So I'm not giving you a course and like checking it off. Every time we meet, you have designated time to speak. And then whatever is up for you, whatever arises, if you choose, we will give you support around that. So you can have it reflected and acknowledged and empathized with the other people in the group. Or I can give you some practical tools to help work through that. And so it's really, you'll have access to all of those, the list of to-dos, right? But we're not following a list of to-dos, right? We are in this space to be in a creative, intuitive, heart-centered space. And so here's a couple more quotes. I really love the community that we built in such a short time. It was also nice to feel grounded at the beginning and the end of the sessions. I feel like I got valuable insight during each session. Kate, you are the best. You are so kind, so thoughtful. You have a way of looking at things in every perspective. You have a way of hearing and understanding my points of view and validating them. Like I said, that acknowledgement is such a key piece of transitions and moving through our feelings and our thoughts. So it was very good to hear. And in addition to our live meetings, you can ask for support through the Facebook group or one-on-one text messages with me anytime. So that I added text message support. I've just been doing intuitively, but I had never stated it. But it's such a small group. You're in my world, and I want to support you. So I'm here for you if you need me. So here's the summary. You've got 6 2-hour group calls, private Facebook community, group chat, and just text one-on-ones too. Access to all of my online stuff. You saw the heart-centered wedding planning guide, and I have meditation recordings and more coming. And that personalized support. So you get the support you need when you need it. And you get any special discounts if you do want Reiki or day of support. You can get discounts on all those other pieces too. So if you are interested, Maeve and I have already talked about this a little bit. So we'll talk about that. But if you're listening to this later and you're interested, hit me up with a message and set up a time to connect on a call, because that's really the best way for us to figure out what you need, right? I think just talking it out, having that open space to tell me what's going on, and then breathe into okay, so what's going to be the way your heart wants to move forward. And as you can tell, that's not a high pressure sales call, right? We're just checking in, and we'll probably do some oming and breathing and grounding and making sure that you have a way forward that's going to really work for you. And I know that weddings are expensive, and I'm really dedicated to making sure that people who want support get support. So if you're wondering about how much it costs, hop on a call first, see if it's something you want. You can also check out the website with the cost and everything, but know that I'm willing to figure it out with you. I've been known to do trades, do scholarships, and do extended payment plans and stuff. So all of those things are possibilities if the cost is prohibitive. So don't let it stop you from getting the support you need. Okay, that is the end of all my spiel. Thank you for being here. I do this work because healing me helps you heal. Healing you helps me heal. It's a journey, and I like to do it together. So let's close with our rose clearing visualization. I got a heart from Maeve, so I know you're there. Thanks. So once again, find a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Draw your attention inward. I always just like to bring some hands to my body, whether that's on my legs or my womb or my neck, wherever you're feeling drawn to hold, bring your hands there. 3 more big, long exhales. On this last exhale, take a big breath in, and on the exhale, open your jaw wide. Maybe bring your fingers there and just dusting off the front of those shoulders. The back of your neck and shoulders are ever tight. Be sure to massage and stretch the front of your shoulders. That's an talked about trick to getting the back shoulders to relax, is actually releasing the front, which can be a little scary because it's so close to the heart where we carry that grief, right? That's why sometimes it's nice to have someone there to sort of hold your heart, hold that space. I'm holding that space for your heart right now. You can feel my hands gently just giving a support so that your heart can just melt a little bit, relax into the palms here. Let it be heavy. With that melty, relaxed heart, draw your attention to your grounding cord and your golden bubble aura around you. Go ahead and surround that aura with roses of whatever color you'd like. And give each one a grounding cord, surrounding the whole circumference of your aura. So every tiny centimeter is covered. These are here to absorb anything coming your way that is not for your highest good. It just gets sent down their grounding cords to the earth for transmutation. And then imagine a golden rose planted outside your aura, way off in the distance. And give it a grounding cord. And call out any energy you're carrying that you're ready to release that is no longer serving you. Any energy that is no longer serving you into this golden rose to be released. Now imagine a golden rose inside your aura. And call back any energy that you've given away over the last days, weeks, months, years. Call them back into this golden rose to be transmuted and repurposed. When you feel you've received all the energy you need to today, and your rose is feeling full, we're going to add a few more things to your rose. So call in any energies that you'd like to bring into your life right now. Maybe that's relaxation, trust, acceptance, kindness, compassion, gratitude, understanding, love, joy, laughter, space for healing, and trust comes up again, and some more trust. When you're ready, you're going to take that rose to the crown of your head and let all that energy flow down and through and around your body. Bringing it all the way down through the core of your being, filling your womb space, going down your legs, all the way down to the soles of your feet, and radiating outwards and seeping inwards all the way into the very core of your bone marrow. into your lungs, filling them with so much gratitude. For every breath. If you'd like to, you can join me with 3 closing ohms. You go a little lower this time. Really feel every sound. It's going to be an ah, oh, Last one. May the light inside you see the light inside me. Namaste. You're so welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. If you want to just sign off by just saying a few words about how you're feeling right now in your body, that would be wonderful. And I wanted to close with this that came to my mind today as I was writing this. And Maeve says, feeling peaceful for the first time in a week. Thank you. Oh, you're so, so, so welcome, Maeve. Thank you so much for being here. And this is taken from a scripture piece, but I changed it to remove God from it because I like to keep things more open. So may I accept the things I cannot change. May I have the courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. Because in this great big world with a lot of things that I wish I could change, there's a lot that I can't. So I want to have the courage to do what I can with where I'm at and with the people I can connect with, and accept that there are things that are beyond that, but also realizing that like it's enough to do what you can, and that healing yourself and getting yourself to a good place is so important for the world. And it is okay to focus on yourself and your healing and your journey right now. It's okay. So with that, I am so, so grateful for you being here and joining me live and later. And I truly hope that you'll reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm like, just back to this one. So be well. I'm going to, okay, yeah. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye.